Good morning, friends. Welcome to BioBooster channel. Myself, Dr. Abasayam Narode. In the previous videos, we have started with the systematics of living organisms. In these systematics of living organisms, we are dealing with the different 5 kingdoms. First kingdom which we have seen in the previous video, kingdom Monera. Now we are going to proceed towards the kingdom Protista. If you see the characters of this kingdom Protista, all these are unicellular eukaryotes. These are eukaryotic organisms, or these are having eukaryotic cells, but these are unicellular and which are placed in the Protista. The important characteristic feature of this Protista is these are unicellular eukaryotes. But the boundaries of this kingdom are not very clear, well defined. Members of the Protista are primarily aquatic. These are growing in water. As they are eukaryotes, their cells contain well-defined nucleus. The important characteristic feature of eukaryotic cell is that it is having a well-defined nucleus. There are well-organized cell organelles in the cytoplasm. These are the important characteristic features of these eukaryotic cells. As they are eukaryotic, their cells contain well-defined nucleus. They contain membrane-bound organelles, chloroplast, mitochondria, Golgi bodies, etc. These are the cell organelles and these are present in the cytoplasm. Some have flagella, 9+2 arrangement, or they are having cilia. So, the kingdom Protista, these are the unicellular eukaryotes. These are made up of a single cell. These are having eukaryotic cell organization. But the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. Members of the Protista, these are growing in water. These are mainly aquatic, primarily aquatic. They are eukaryotes and their cells contain well defined nucleus. There are membrane bound cell organelles in the cytoplasm and some are having flagella, 9+2 arrangement. In case of this Protista, reproduction takes place by means of asexual as well as sexual methods. Here, by cell fusion and zygote formation, sexual reproduction takes place. These organisms show a link with all the eukaryotic kingdoms. These are Plantae, Fungi and Animalia. These are the different kingdoms. First kingdom which we have seen, Monera. Now Protista. So Protista, it is having a link with other kingdoms like Plantae, Fungi and Animalia. These are the 3 kingdoms, and with these 3 kingdoms, this Protista is having a link. Nutrition is photosynthetic. They can prepare their own food material. So if you see these prokaryotes, or if you see the Protista, nutrition is photosynthetic, that is they can prepare their own food material. Or it may be nutrition may be holozoic, like those of animals, depending upon the other organisms. It may be absorptive. These are decomposers. They decompose the organic matter and they absorb this digested or degraded organic matter, organic material. So nutrition may be photosynthetic. Some are preparing their own food material. Some are holozoic like animals. Some are absorptive. These are the decomposers. This is the nutrition. Then classification of Protista. Protista is classified into 5 categories. The first category, Chrysophyta. These are also called plants like Protista. Dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds. These are called fungi like Protista. Protozoans. These are called animal like Protista. Then we shall see all these categories one by one in detail. The first category, or out of these 5 categories, Chrysophyta, dinoflagellates and euglenoids, they are having pigments. That's why these are photosynthetic producers. Chrysophytes, dinoflagellates and euglenoids, these are containing the photosynthetic pigments and that's why they are photosynthetic producers. Slime molds, these are saprophytic. They cannot prepare their own food material, but these are growing on the decaying organic matter, that is, they are saprophytic. Protozoans, these are consumers. These are heterotrophs. They cannot prepare their own food material, but they are depending upon the other organisms for their food requirement. So these are the consumers. They consume the food material from other organisms. Protista is only kingdom where there are different types of nutrition. Photosynthetic producers, they can prepare own food material. They are saprophytes, these are consumers. Sometimes they are parasites, means they are having different types of nutrition. Then we shall see the first category of this protista, chrysophytes. These are also called plant-like protista. In this plant-like protista, diatoms and desmids are included. Then we shall see what are these diatoms and desmids. This group includes diatoms and desmids, and these are also called golden algae because of the color. They are also called as golden algae. Here, if you see these chrysophytes, these are commonly phytoplanktons. These are floating on the surface of water. These are chrysophytes. These are floating on the surface of water. These are phytoplanktons. They are found mostly in marine environment as well as fresh water. So they are floating on the surface of seawater as well as fresh water. These are unicellular and non-motile. They do not have cilia, they do not have flagella. So these are non-motile and these are made up of a single cell. They are microscopic and float passively on the surface, passively in water currents. So along the water currents, they can move from one place to the other place. So chrysophytes, this group includes diatoms and desmids. These are called golden algae because of the color. They are called chrysophytes, commonly called phytoplanktons. These are floating on the surface of water. They are mostly found on the surface of marine water as well as fresh water. They are unicellular and non-motile. They do not have flagella, cilia. That's why these are passively moving along the water currents. So you can see these are the diatoms. Most of the diatoms and desmids, these are photosynthetic. They are having photosynthetic pigments. In diatoms, walls form two overlapping shells. This is a one shell. This is the another shell. These are the two overlapping shells. These are called pustules, which fit together like a soap box. We know that in the soap box there are two parts, lower and upper. Here, this is the lower part, this is the upper part. These are the two shells. Outer is called epitheca. This is the epitheca. And inner, this is called as hypotheca. So two shells, epitheca and hypotheca. Epitheca fits into the hypotheca. In diatoms, cell walls are embedded with silica. In the walls, there is a silica which is a tough material, which is a indestructible material. They cannot be destroyed. So it is an indestructible material because of the silica. They have pigments like chlorophyll C, beta carotene and special type of xanthophyll. There is a special type of xanthophyll. Reserve food material is oil and special carbohydrates. So if you see these diatoms, most of them are photosynthetic. They are having overlapping cells. One fits into the other like a soap box. Outer is epitheca, inner is hypotheca. In diatoms, walls are embedded with the silica, which is a very hard material. It cannot be destroyed. It is indestructible. They have pigments like chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, beta carotene and special type of xanthophyll. Resolved food material is oil and special types of carbohydrates. In case of these diatoms, reproduction by asexual as well as sexual methods. When light falls on the silica, just now I told you that, on their walls there is a silica. when the light falls on the silica, it shines. Therefore, diatoms are called jewelry of plant kingdom. Here, as the walls are containing silica, that's why they shine when light falls on them, and therefore this is called as a jewelry of plant kingdom. Diatoms act as water pollution indicators. When there is more water pollution, at this time there are more diatoms on the surface of water. So diatoms, these act as water pollution indicators. Diatoms perform 50% of the photosynthesis on the earth. Means you will get the idea that how many diatoms are present in water or aquatic water bodies. So these perform 50% of the photosynthesis on earth. On earth, the photosynthesis which occurs, out of these 50% occurs, or 50% photosynthesis is performed by these diatoms. They are called cheap producers because they are performing photosynthesis. They are producing the photosynthesis in the larger quantity. That's why these are called cheap producers. In case of diatoms, reproduction by asexual as well as sexual methods. When light falls on the silica, this shines, and that's why diatoms are called jewelry of plant kingdom. These are water pollution indicators. When more pollution, more diatoms. They perform 50% of the photosynthesis on the earth, and that's why these are the cheap producers. The deposition of large amount of walls containing silica billions of years. So such a diatoms, we know that their wall is a very indestructible, this cannot be degraded, etc. Here such a walls, these are deposited in the larger quantity, billions of years. Therefore, there is a formation of diatomaceous earth. तर याचे जे वॉल्स असतात तर वॉल्स असे दरवर्षी साठत जातात बिलियन्स ऑफ इयर्स, आणि त्यापासून डायटोमेसियस नावाची अर्थ तयार होते. म्हणजे डायटम्सनं बनलेली अर्थ किंवा डायटम्सनं बनलेली रेती. डायटोमेसियस अर्थ इज ग्रॅन्युलर, इट इज ग्रिटी, ग्रॅन्युल्स आहे. इट इज यूज्ड इन पॉलिशिंग, पॉलिश करण्यासाठी त्याचा वापर केला जातो. इन फिल्ट्रेशन ऑफ ऑइल्स अँड सिरप्स. In these two purposes, for these two purposes, this diatomaceous earth is used. So deposition of large amounts of walls, cell walls containing silica, billions of years, form a diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is granular. It is used in polishing as well as filtration of oils and syrups. Then second category, animal-like protista. Animal-like protista, or these are called as protozoans. In zoology, we might have studied protozoa. Such a types of protozoan organism, these are included under this category. The characters. Protozoans are unicellular, having eukaryotic cellular organization. Eukaryotic cellular organization means, you remember only these 2 points, important points: well-defined nucleus and well-organized cell organelles. So these are unicellular, having eukaryotic cell organization. They are believed to be primitive ancestors of animals. It means that all the animals, these are evolved from this animal-like protista. All the animals have evolved from these protozoans. Means these are primitive ancestors of these animals. All protozoans are heterotrophs. They cannot prepare their own food material. All protozoans, they are not having photosynthetic pigment, and these are heterotrophs, and they live as predators or parasites. म्हणजे ते पॅरासाइट म्हणून दुसऱ्या ऑर्गॅनिझम मध्ये राहू शकतात. There are 4 major groups of protozoans. The important major characters are, these are unicellular and eukaryotic. These are the primitive ancestors of all the animals. These are heterotrophs, they cannot prepare their own food material. they lack cell wall, they do not have a cell wall, and there are four major groups of these protozoans. First category, amoeboid protozoans, amoeba-like protozoans, ciliated protozoans, protozoans are having cilia, flagellated protozoans, protozoans are having flagella for locomotion, sporozoans. So these are the different four categories of these protozoans. Then first category, first types of these protozoans, amoeboid protozoans. Here you can see this is the amoeboid protozoan. These organisms live in fresh water as well as seawater or moist soils. They move and capture their food material with the help of pseudopodia. They are having pseudopodia. Pseudopodia मराठीमध्ये छद्मपाद असं म्हणतात. ज्या वेळेला फूड मटेरियल या ठिकाणी जाईल त्यावेळेला हे असे एकमेकाला जोडले जातात आणि हे फूड मटेरियल आत घेतलं जातं. म्हणजे दीज आर कॉल्ड pseudopodia किंवा मराठीमध्ये छद्मपाद किंवा फॉल्स फीट असं सुद्धा म्हटलं जातं. So amoeba, it is a popular example of these amoeboid protozoans. These live in fresh water, marine water, or on the moist soil. They move and capture the food material with the help of these pseudopodia. Pseudopodia are the false feet. Marine forms have silica on their surface. Some of these are parasites. These are growing on the other organisms, animals, and producing a disease. They live as parasites. For example, Entamoeba histolytica. This Entamoeba histolytica grows in the human body, and it causes a amoebic dysentery. Especially this occurs in the rainy season. So here you can see that in the rainy season, in water, more amount of Entamoeba histolytica is present, and which causes the amoebic dysentery. So amoeboid protozoans, they live in fresh water and seawater, moist soil. They capture the food material with the help of pseudopodia. Marine forms are having silica on their walls. They live as parasites producing the different diseases. For example, Entamoeba histolytica. This causes amoebic dysentery in the human being. Then ciliated protozoans. Protozoans which are having cilia. You can see it. These are the cilia. These cilia are used for locomotion, for moving, for the movement on the surface of water. So these are aquatic. These are growing in water. Actively move because of the presence of thousands of cilia on the body. Thousands of cilia on the body. These are the cilia. These are present over the body, and with the help of these cilia, they can actively move from one place to the other place. They have gullet. You can see this is a gullet. They have a gullet or the cavity that opens to the outside of the surface. You can see that this gullet opens here. This cavity, it opens at this place. So they have a gullet or the cavity that opens to the outside of the cell surface. तर ही जी कॅव्हिटी आहे तर या ठिकाणी ही ओपन झालेली तुम्हाला दिसेल. Popular example is Paramecium. Paramecium has two nuclei, micronucleus and macronucleus. This is the micronucleus, this is the macronucleus. Micro means small, macro means larger. So these ciliated protozoans, these are having cilia, these are aquatic, actively move with the help of cilia. They are having a gullet opens to the outer surface. Paramecium is the popular example of these ciliated protozoans. This Paramecium has two nuclei, micronucleus smaller, macronucleus larger. The coordinated movement of rows of cilia causes the water loaded with food and guided to the gullet. Here in this case, because of the coordinated movement of this cilia, ज्या पाण्यामध्ये फूड मटेरियल आहे ते या this is a gullet कडे पाठवलं जातं. Here you can see that as there are cilia over the surface of the body, coordinated movement of rows of cilia causes the water loaded with food. म्हणजे ज्या वॉटरमध्ये फूड मटेरियल आहे अशा प्रकारचं वॉटर या गलेटकडे गाईड केलं जातं म्हणजे या कॅव्हिटीकडे गाईड केलं जातं. मग या कॅव्हिटीकडे ते वॉटर आणलं जातं. द जेनेटिक मटेरियल इज प्रेझेंट इन द मायक्रो न्यूक्लियस. आपल्याला माहिती आहे की इतर ऑर्गॅनिझम्समध्ये, प्लांट्समध्ये, ॲनिमल्समध्ये एकच न्यूक्लियस असतो आणि त्याच्यामध्ये जे जेनेटिक मटेरियल असतं. परंतु या पॅरामेसियममध्ये 2 न्यूक्लिया आहेत, मायक्रो आणि मॅक्रो. तर जेनेटिक मटेरियल या मायक्रो न्यूक्लियसमध्ये तुम्हाला आढळेल. पॉप्युलर एक्झाम्पल ऑफ दिस सिलिएटेड प्रोटोझोम्स इज द पॅरामेसियम. देन फ्लॅजेलेटेड प्रोटोझोम्स. प्रोटोझोम्स विच आर हॅव्हिंग फ्लॅजेला. समजा हा ऑर्गॅनिझम आहे, अशा प्रकारचा जो फ्लॅजेला त्याला असतो की ज्याच्या सहाय्याने तो मूव्ह होऊ शकतो. सो मेंबर्स ऑफ दिस ग्रुप आर आयदर फ्री लिव्हिंग ऑर पॅरासाइट. They are free living in water or they may be parasitic on the other organisms. They have flagella. That's why the name is flagellated protozoans. These flagella are used for locomotion for the movement. Parasitic forms cause. म्हणजे आपण आता पाहिलं की they are free living or parasitic. Parasitic forms cause diseases like sleeping sickness and kala azar. You remember the names of these diseases. Sleeping sickness and kala azar. It spreads by the vector, say fly. You also remember this name. These are spreading because of this fly, say fly. Here, for example, sleeping sickness is caused by Trypanosoma gambians. Sleeping sickness, this disease, it is caused by Trypanosoma gambians, which are flagellated protozoans. Kala azar is caused by Leishmania donovani. Kala azar, it is called as Leishmania donovani. The next type of protozoans, these are sporozoan protozoans. These organisms have an infectious spore-like stage. They are producing this spore. These are producing these spores, and this is most infectious stage in the life cycle of these sporozoan protozoans. The most notorious, most dangerous, it is Plasmodium vivax. This is a malarial parasite. This Plasmodium causes a malaria in the human being, and this is a sporozoan protozoan. In the life cycle of Plasmodium vivax, a sporozoid stage, spore producing stage, this is important when transfers to healthy person. When these spore-like structure, these are transferred to the healthy person, there is a causing of malarial disease. This involves RBCs, red blood corpuscles. They multiply and eventually escape from the ruptured cells. Here, this pathogen infects, enters the RBCs, it multiplies, and when RBCs are ruptured, it is released outside. This group has a large diversity. Then dinoflagellates. These dinoflagellates, these are also called golden brown algae or fire algae or bioluminescent algae or sea host. We are going to see the reasons behind this afterwards. These are aquatic. Here you can see these are the dinoflagellates. These dinoflagellates are aquatic and these are photosynthetic. These are growing in water. They are having photosynthetic pigments. That's why they can prepare their own food material by the process of photosynthesis. These are unicellular biflagellate. They are having a single cell only, or these are made up of a single cell. These are biflagellates when there are 2 flagella and these are perpendicular to each other. So this is a dinoflagellate. You can see here, this is a one flagellum and this is the another flagellum. These 2 flagella, these are perpendicular to each other. Dinoflagellates, these are aquatic and marine. These are photosynthetic because these are having photosynthetic pigments. These are made up of a single cell, that is unicellular. They are having 2 flagella, that is biflagellate, and these 2 flagella, these are perpendicular to each other. The cell wall has stiff cellulose plates. You can see here, these are the cellulose plates. Here you can see these are the cellulose plates. Such a cellulose plates are present on the wall of this dinoflagellate on the outer surface. Here you can see that these dinoflagellate, these are unicellular, marine, photosynthetic, biflagellate, having cellulose plates on the outer surface. Dinoflagellates, goniologs, is responsible for famous red type. We shall see the meaning of this one. Here, these are having colored pigments, or we can say the red pigment. When these are multiplied fast, when there is a large number of such dinoflagellates, and it is responsible for the red tide. It makes sea appear red, means their number is very high, and that's why sea appears red. Upper covering is called as epitheca. Here you can see that this is the epitheca. And lower covering, this is called as hypotheca. Upper covering is epitheca. Lower, this is the hypotheca. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue or red depending upon the main pigments present in them. So there is a variation in the pigments. Photosynthetic pigments are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, alpha carotene and xanthophyll. So dinoflagellates, goniologs is responsible for the red tide. Their quantity is more, their number is more, that's why sea appears red. Upper covering is epitheca, lower covering is hypotheca. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue or red depending upon the main pigments present in them. Photosynthetic pigments which are present in the dinoflagellates, these are chlorophyll A, C, alpha carotene and xanthophyll. You can see this is the ventral view, lower side. This is the dorsal view, upper side. Two flagella, biflagellate, there are two flagella. They show bioluminescence. You shall see the meaning of this one. They show bioluminescence. These organisms glow in the night. In the night time, they are producing the light. They are emitting the light. On the sea surface, due to the presence of chemical known as luciferin. This luciferin absorbs light, and in the dark it emits the light, it gives out the light, and that's why we call it as a ghost, or it is called as bioluminescence. Here these dinoflagellates, they are having luciferin on the outer surface. Luciferin absorbs light, and in the night time it emits the light, and that's why this is called as a ghost. Examples are Noctiluca, Pyrocystis. Very often dinoflagellates like goniologs and gymnodium undergoes rapid multiplication that makes the sea appear red. Here goniologs and gymnodium, these dinoflagellates multiply fast, and because of this sea appears red, or there is formation of red tides. Goniologs produces a toxin. This is called as saxitoxin. Goniologs dinoflagellate, it produces a saxitoxin chemical, and this chemical kills the other marine organisms like fishes. Means because of the saxitoxin, other marine organisms are killed. Then next category, euglenoids. Next category of Protista, these are euglenoids. The characters of euglenoids are, these are freshwater organisms found in the stagnant water. The water is not moving, water is stagnant. On such a type of water, these euglenoids are observed. These are considered as a connecting link between plants and animals. Euglenoids are showing the characters of plants as well as they are showing the characters of animals. That's why they are forming a connecting link between the plants and animals, and that's why commonly these are called as plantimals. Plants and animals, they are plantimals. Euglenoids, these are growing in the fresh water, in the stagnant water, water which is not moving. They are considered as a connecting link between the plants and animals. That's why these are called as plantimals. Then we can see plant-like characters and animal-like characters in case of euglenoids. In case of euglenoids, chloroplast is present. This is a plant-like character. Absence of true starch. True starch is absent, but paramyelin starch is present. Paramyelin starch is present in case of these euglenites. This is an animal-like character. Then they are autotrophs. They photosynthesize and they prepare their own food material in presence of light. Euglenites, they are photosynthetic because these are having chloroplast. They prepare their own food material in presence of light. They are animals in absence of light. In presence of light, they are photosynthetic. These are like plants. In absence of light, these cannot prepare their own food material, and these are predating, living on the other smaller organisms. So these are the animal-like characters. Plant-like characters, presence of chloroplast and photosynthesis. Animal-like characters, paramyelin starch, and these are predating on the smaller organisms. They perform photosynthesis, just now we have seen, because they are having chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, beta carotene and xanthophyll. These are photosynthetic pigments are present in these euglenites: chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, beta carotene and xanthophyll. They show mixotropic mode of nutrition. Mixotropic mode of nutrition means producer and consumer. Producer means they are photosynthesizing, they are preparing the carbohydrates in the process of photosynthesis. Consumers, these are in absence of light, they are acting as consumers because they cannot prepare food material. They have reserved food material in the form of paramyelin starch. Reserved food material is stored in the form of a paramyelin starch. They are photosynthetic, having photosynthetic pigments. They show mixotropic mode of nutrition. It means they are acting as producers, they are acting as consumers. And the food material is stored in the form of a paramyelin body or paramyelin starch. Here you can see the example of these euglenites, euglena. The name of the animal is euglena. This euglena has a spindle-shaped body, broad at the middle and tapering and narrowing at both ends. This is called as a spindle-shaped body. The body eater, they do not have a cell wall, but they are having a pellicle. This is a pellicle. Cell wall is absent, but proteinaceous material, protein-rich layer is present, and this protein layer, this is called as a pellicle. Pellicle makes the body flexible. Here, this animal is covered entirely by means of a pellicle, and because of this pellicle, this body of the animal is flexible. They have two flagella. One is long and other is short. This is a long flagella. So euglena has a spindle-shaped body, broad at the middle and narrowing at both ends. They do not have a cell wall, but the entire body is covered by means of a proteinaceous layer called as pellicle. Pellicle makes the body flexible, and they have two flagella. One is short and one is long. Here you can see that this euglena, it shows a directional movement by flagellum. With the help of flagellum, it moves in any direction or required direction. It has well organized cell organelles. We know that Protista, these are unicellular eukaryotes. That's why well organized cell organelles are present. Here you can see this is a Golgi complex, this is a chloroplast, these are the mitochondria, here there is a nucleus, etc. Such types of well organized cell organelles, these are present in the body of this euglena. So euglena, it has a well organized cell organelles, just now we have seen. Euglena can also move by relaxing and expanding its body. Body is relaxed, body is expanded. So here it can move by relaxing and expanding their body. The process known as metaboly. Body relaxes, body expands. This is called as a metaboly. This process is called as metaboly. Euglena reproduces by longitudinal binary fission. By longitudinal binary fissions mean there is formation of two pieces. Two pieces are formed, or here there is formation of two organisms by means of binary fission. This is the reproduction. The next category or the next group of protista, these are fungi-like protista, or these are called myxomycetes or slime molds. There are different names: slime molds, fungi-like protista, or myxomycetes. Slime molds are, these are heterotrophic. They cannot prepare their own food material. They do not have photosynthetic pigments. These are saprophytic. These are living on the dead organic matter and found on decaying leaves. The leaves which are decaying, the leaves which are degrading, on these leaves, these slime molds are growing. These are heterotrophic. They cannot prepare their own food material. They are growing as saprophytes. They are living on the dead organic matter, and these are found on the decaying leaves. Ecologically, they are decomposers. So suppose this is a leaf, and on this leaf, these organisms are growing. After some days, this entire leaf is decomposed. That's why they are decomposers. These are unicellular eukaryotes. They are unicellular. Eukaryotes means they are having a definite distinct nucleus and cell organelles. So these are unicellular eukaryotes. This is the structure of a slime mold. Slime molds are most primitive forms or ancestors of fungi. Means all the types of fungi originated from these slime molds. So these are the ancestors, पूर्वज. Fungi जे हे पूर्वज आहे. So these are the ancestors of fungi. These are terrestrial, growing on the land. These are not growing in the water, but these are growing on the land. Cell wall is absent in a vegetative phase, but appears in the reproductive phase. So they do not have cell wall in the vegetative phase, but they are having a cell wall in the reproductive phase. Their cell aggregates, group of cells. Cell aggregates means group of cells. Their cell aggregates to form a large mass of cell called as plasmodium. Plasmodium vivax हा वेगळा आहे आणि हा plasmodium हा वेगळा आहे. This is a aggregate of cells, cell mass. This cell mass is called as a plasmodium. During the favorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiates. हा plasmodium differentiate होतो and it forms fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. तर अशा fruiting bodies तयार होतात आणि त्याच्या टिपला spores असतात. These spores have two walls. म्हणजे मगाशी आपण पाहिलं व्हेजिटेटिव्ह स्टेजमध्ये सेल वॉल नाही, रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह स्टेजमध्ये वॉल आहे. They are extremely resistant and survive for many years even under adverse conditions. So these slime molds, these are extremely resistant and they can survive under the adverse conditions for many years. The spores are dispersed by wind currents. तर जे स्पोर्स तयार होतात प्रोटीन बॉडीवरती ते विंड करंटनी, वाऱ्यानी किंवा हवेनी स्प्रेड केले जातात. सेल ॲग्रिगेट्स, group of cells. This mass of cells is called as a plasmodium. This plasmodium is different from Plasmodium vivax, that is malarial parasite. During the favorable conditions, this plasmodium differentiates, form the protein bodies bearing spores at their tips. These spores are dispersed by wind currents. These spores have true walls. These these slime molds, these are extremely resistant. They can survive under the adverse conditions for many years, and these spores are dispersed by wind currents. मित्रों, आपणास हा व्हिडिओ आवडला असेल तर कृपया लाईक करा, शेअर करा आणि सबस्क्राईब करा. धन्यवाद.